Debate about what's trending in the Carolinas. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Now here's Odi.
Well, hello there, and you're very welcome to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. On the show tonight, now that the Pope has died, how do we elect a new Pope? Why our food dye is so bad for you? And I'm going to revisit something that I was asked to revisit quite a few times. Is it better to have a degree or to have a trade? As always, I want to hear your thoughts. You can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, which is 800-905-0989, or on the PhD Weight Loss Talk line. That number is 800-905-0989. If you want to give me a quick call, I'll be here. I want to hear your input. Not a bad day today. Not a bad day at all. I didn't have a very productive day at all today. No, I done a few bits around the house, but no, I just one of those days where nothing productive happened, and I just said, you know what, I don't care. I don't. Have you had a day like that? Let me know what kind of a day you had. How was your Sunday? It was nice. It was warm. It was sunny. If you're in Ireland, I believe it was a nice day as well. I know a lot of people listening in Ireland, and I want to say good evening, good night to all of y'all, because it's about 12 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what you're doing awake at this hour. But before we do anything else, I want to talk about what a person wears to a funeral. I think you know where I'm going with this. Now, as you know, Uncle Donald went to Pope Francis's funeral yesterday. It was held in the Vatican, in Vatican City. I was lucky enough to go to Vatican City once. It's absolutely fantastic. The art, it's a museum. It's a massive museum, and it's a church as well. And I know it's the center of the Catholic Church, but it's amazing. Well, look, I won't go too deep into that, but there's a lot of money in the Catholic Church, and we're just going to leave it at that. But the Uncle Donald went to the Pope's funeral, and he had a conversation with Vladimir Zelensky. And you'll see it all over the papers, and you'll see it all over the websites. And they were sitting down having a conversation. Now, you would think that would be the top story. The fact that President Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky sat down inside the basilica in a cordoned off area. Now, it wasn't quite during the funeral, but it wasn't far off it. You think that would make all the news? The fact that Donald Trump has come out and he has said, hang on, let me see, face-to-face encounter with Trump and Zelensky that was that one last one. Hang on, I have it here. They're now saying that the White House has said that there is increasingly urgent push to strike a peace deal in Ukraine. Now, that was because of what happened at the funeral yesterday. Okay. Now, you would think that every single news story would start with President Trump and Vladimir Zelensky have talks to make sure that peace comes through. President Trump no longer feels that he feels that Russia are doing bad, which of course they are, and it's a step forward. It's moving forward. Okay, no, that's not the top story. It's the fact that Donald Trump wore a blue suit to the funeral. Do you honestly think now, whenever I die, and it's inevitable, and I will say this: Irish people have, I don't know if you'd call it a healthy view on death. I mean, we take it as something it's going to happen. It's going to happen in our lifetimes. You're going to die. Everybody's born. Everybody pays taxes. Well, some don't. I do, fortunately. And everybody dies. Do you think when I'm lying in a coffin, getting ready to be cremated, do you honestly think I will care what anybody is wearing? You can wear, if you are coming to my funeral, You can wear a clown costume. I don't care. I don't even slightly care. Do you honestly think that Pope Francis will care what somebody wore to his funeral? Do you think anybody else cares that Donald Trump wore a blue suit to the funeral? Have you seen the extended photograph? So there's a photograph of Donald and his lovely wife standing, the First Lady, Melania, sorry, standing in one of the seating areas, I suppose you want to call it. And he's there wearing his blue suit. Now he looked well. I mean, guarantee that's not a cheap suit. You can guarantee that is not a $200 suit. No way. And he looked well. And that was on the close-up photograph. Everybody around him was wearing black. But did you see the bigger photograph? Did you see the bigger photograph that had about 300 or 400 people in it? You had a lot of people from the Middle East, and they were wearing white. They wear the white headdresses, guys and girls, and they had their customary, I suppose, suits on them. Would it be suits? It was. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it was the long headdress, and it was kind of, it looked, I won't say like a dress, but kind of a cloak or something, looked like a cloak. So you had the guys from the Middle East were wearing that, and they were white. Okay, so they were wearing white to a funeral. You had a lot of different people. The Irish Prime Minister or the Irish President was there. He was wearing black, but I think he had a red tie on him. You had a lot of different people wearing different colors. There was lots of blue suits. There was a staggering amount of blue suits. So I'm just kind of curious as to why the headline of the day is Donald Trump wears a blue suit to a funeral. But I made the comment to a friend of mine. Now, I'm not going to mention my friend because they're of completely different views to me. Completely. And they're still a friend of mine. Still a very good friend of mine. And I mentioned it to this person. I'm not going to say if it's a guy or a girl. Mentioned this to this person. And the person said to me, "Oh, that was terrible. Oh, has he got no respect wearing a blue suit?" I said, "He wore a suit. Vladimir Zelensky didn't wear a suit." And this person said to me, "Yeah, but he looked really well." It's not about fashion. Let me know on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. Do you care? Do you even have a slight little bit of an inkling of what somebody is going to wear to your funeral? I don't think you do. I don't think you care. It's not something that you're going to worry about. And then people might come back to me and say, "Oh, well, the family are there, and I mean, you have to be respectful for the family." Do you honestly think they care? I mean, they've got a loved one who passed away. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. Odi, President Trump's comments about Putin is a warning of financial pain coming to Russia. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, the thing is, we've already stopped money. We've froze money of the oligarchs and, all of the anybody from Russia that is living over here in America that has, unfounded wealth. They're not living here anymore, or all their assets have been frozen. The thing is, America helped Ukraine a lot. Okay, a lot of money went to Ukraine. A lot of money left the country. I think it was 360. I could be wrong, but the last number I remember was $360 billion, and it funded the war. And yeah, people have said that Europe gave money as well. Not as much. Not as much. And then someone came along to me and said, "Oh, but per capita, Europe gave." I don't care. I don't care. It's not about per capita. It's the fact that we give an awful lot of money. We give billions and billions and billions of dollars. Is it a case that Europe has to, "Oh, well, it's okay, America will bail us out. Oh, it's okay, America will come in." Is America the big stick? Well, yeah, no. The war, the Ukrainian-Russian war, it's probably very close to being over because war is expensive and Russia is running out of money. They're running out of money. They don't really have an awful lot of money left to keep going. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, the talk line or the text and talk lines are open. On the text Odie, he could have worn his birthday suit for all I care. There you go. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. When I come back, I'll be talking about how we elect a new pope. Yeah, it's a different kind of a thing. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Live debate and discussion on the news of the weekend. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Pop culture is a multi-billion-dollar industry. From comic books to video games, from superhero movies to collectibles, we've got you covered on the Upstate Pulse. We've been here a decade, and according to science, that makes us experts. And we also like to have fun, which is legal in all 57 states. We check the internet, so it has to be true. Join me in the Nerd Herd every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. on 98.9 WRD and live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Alien Drone Transmissions.
The Upstate Pulse, Saturday night, 7 to 9. News Talk 98.9 WORD. Brought to you by Borderlands Comics and Games.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. 54 tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly sunny tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 77. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, it's 69 degrees.
Calling all heroes. Guess who's in the spotlight? It's none other than our veterans and first responders. It's Bill Frady. Join me at Upstate Warrior Solutions, 770 Pelham Road, this Wednesday for a live edition of Straight Talk with Bill Frady from noon to 3. A complimentary lunch will be served to our esteemed men and women in uniform.
Sorry about that. When I go to the ad breaks, I stay live. Sorry, when someone drives into the parking lot, I look back. I always see them coming in. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't know how it feels. The other thing as well, if you're tuning in for the first time, where have you been? I don't know what it is. If there's a topic that you want to talk about, if there's a topic that you want to get my opinion upon, or if there's a topic that you want to chat about, any topic at all, any topic, just text me, send me a message here, text me on the Common Sense for Time Replying text line, 800-905-0989. Or if you want to talk to Odie, you can phone me up on the exact same number, 800-905-0989. And this is the best time to do it when I'm on an ad break, because as you can see, I'm on my lonesome in the studio. I've got nose hairs wrecking me head. You don't know how it feels. Had a tattoo too. The future was wide open. Sorry, I've got Tom Petty song in my head. I get songs stuck in my head a lot. Man, my head is splitting, guys. Ugh. Christopher, how are you, sir? If you're on, just give me one of them. Chris, I've got a headache. Oh. Now, as you know, Pope Francis passed away. Was it last Friday? Friday week ago, I think it was. Or it was during the week. Not 100% sure. 88, I think he was. And double pneumonia. That's what got him. A lot of people were asking, well, Odi, you're Catholic. Well, I was brought up Catholic, no longer practicing the Catholic faith. But a lot of people have said to me, do you know what happens when Pope dies? I'm like, well, yeah, I have a rough idea. So there's a lot of traditions and rituals. And first of all, when they say that there was an old ritual, okay, where they use a silver mallet to knock the Pope on the head 3 times. They don't do that. And if they do it, it's ceremonial. They don't actually physically, hit a dead person on the head to see if they're dead. It's merely ceremonial. The doctor comes in. The Pope has his own physician. Doctor comes in and checks the Pope, and obviously he died. He passed away. So they declare that he had died. And then there's a cardinal. The cardinal is the next step down from the Pope. It's like if you have a ranking system, you've got deacons and priests, they're kind of privates, and then you kind of go up into sergeants and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of, somebody said it to me once that the Catholic Church is just, now, I'm not saying this is just something that was said to me once, that the Catholic Church pretty much just took over from the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire died and it went, it was segregated into different countries. But someone said it to me once that the Catholic Church just took over, and the Pope is kind of like the Caesar, and then you've got your cardinals, which would be like the lieutenants and generals and all that kind of stuff. But that's what it is. But the lead cardinal, which is the kind of, he's now, I don't want to say he's acting Pope, but he kind of is at the minute, is a Dublin man. He's from Ireland. He's an Irish cardinal. Kevin Farrell is his name. I think it's Dr. Kevin Farrell. I think he's a doctor of theology. But he's looking after pretty much everything. And you've probably seen it. If you've seen the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and all that kind of stuff, you'll see where his ring is destroyed. It's the ring of the fisherman. It's the Pope's ring. It's destroyed, melted down, and it gets remelted into a new ring, which the new Pope is going to wear. But there's a few different bits and pieces, and the body was in state for a long time. It was on display. So, there's a lot. It kind of goes a tradition, I suppose you want to call it. Tradition. So there's lots of traditions that are in place once the Pope dies. But what's going to happen now is you're going to get something called a conclave. Now, if you haven't watched on Netflix, there is a film called Conclave, and it pretty much describes everything that is now about to happen. You've heard of the Sistine Chapel before? Well, the Sistine Chapel is a chapel that was painted by, I think it's Leonardo da Vinci. The ceiling, I've been to the Sistine Chapel, absolutely beautiful. And it's got, you've seen the painting of, it's called The Creation, where you have God in heaven and you have Adam on the ground, and they're almost about to touch fingers. You've seen the picture, seen it. They don't actually touch their fingers actually don't touch. But that's the creation. That's what that painting is, and that is in the Sistine Chapel. So now there is going to be, I think if I'm right or wrong, there could be 65 cardinals that are going to vote. The thing is, cardinals, they have to be under the age of 80 to vote, but they can choose a new pope who is over the age of 80. I'm not sure why that happens, but you have to be under the age of 80 to vote, but you can choose. I mean, there's lots of different cardinals. And there is a few front runners already, and they're saying that this is going to happen. But the conclave, which means the voting, is going to start, I think it's going to start during the week. And what happens is there has to be a 2/3 majority of vote. Otherwise, can't be a pope. I think the longest conclave that happened was about 7 months, where they just kept voting over and over and over again. You've probably heard about the whole thing of the black smoke and the white smoke. So black smoke indicates that a pope hasn't been elected, and white smoke indicates that a pope has been elected. It's all to do with secrecy. So nobody will ever know what happened in the Sistine Chapel. Nobody ever knows exactly what happens in the Sistine Chapel, how the voting happens. They know the voting happens, but they don't exactly know what way the votes went, because all of the votes, every single one of the votes, after the voting has happened, are destroyed. That's where the black smoke comes from. So all of the ballots, they all write out the ballots. The ballot is given up to the lead cardinal. They're strung together. Do you remember years ago when you used to put popcorn onto string and you used to put it onto the Christmas tree? That's exactly the same way the ballots are strung together. There's a needle pass through them, a thread passes through them, and the ballots are then collected, put together, put into a fire, into a kind of an oven kind of style, and set alight. So nobody ever knows, but they know the result. So it could be half and half. So nobody's going to be, you know what I mean? If the vote doesn't go through. There is an additive added to the flames. If a vote hasn't got the 2/3 majority, that means if one of the cardinals hasn't. Now, here's the thing as well, and this was said to me by. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's actually a priest in Ireland. Good guy, and he said to me, he said, "Here's one for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cardinal who is voted in as pope. It can be any male. I think it's over the age of 55." Any Catholic male over the age of 55 anywhere on the planet can be voted in as pope. They don't necessarily have to be a cardinal. They don't have to be a member of or they have to be a member of the Catholic Church, but they don't have to be within the church. You don't have to be a priest, don't have to be any of that. So I found that very interesting. But anyway, as the conclave goes on, and eventually they will vote for a pope, they will make an agreement. It could be a unanimous decision, or it will be the 2/3 of the vote will go to the one priest, or one cardinal, or one member of the Roman Catholic Church, and that person will then become the pope. They pick their papal name. There is a little check done to make sure that they're a guy. I'm not going to explain how to do that, but they do. There's a special chair that they sit in that they check that the pope person going to be the pope is a guy. Once that's done, they pick their papal name and they go out onto the balcony. You've seen the shots of the balcony, and then we have a new pope, and that's pretty much how it works, in a nutshell. Just straightforward. But yeah, no, that's how all of that happens. And I'm after hitting that music way too early. But so I'm just going to stop that. This is what happens. This is live radio. I'm going to go here and I'm going to pop that over there. So yeah, that's how much, or that's how it pretty much pans out. And I know a lot of you. Yeah, okay. They're coming in. Sorry, it wasn't Da Vinci. It wasn't Da Vinci. It was Michelangelo. I'm sorry. Text messages coming in. Thank you, Texter. Yeah, look it. I'm not going to be funny, but you've seen one turtle, you've seen them all. All right. The younger people will get that. Somebody else says, Odi, am I right in saying we could have Pope Odi? No. No, I definitely wouldn't be papal material. I don't think I would anyway. Look, you never know. Let me try run over here for Senate or something first. What do you think about that? Will we get back on that bandwagon? Get Odie to run for Senate or something? I don't know. Some people have said it'd be fun. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. All right, what we got? Gary, I went to Asheville today as usual, seeing my mother every Sunday. Yeah, it was lovely. Oh no, that's not good. Chris, by the way, do you know about Jeeps? What do I know about Jeeps, buddy? All right, give me a thumbs up. Chris. Yeah, Chris, I was raised Catholic. Chris, I was raised Catholic. I'm wondering now later in life to try and look back into the Catholic Church. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go back into it. Chris, will I talk about that on air? I might just chat about that on air. Huh. And you're very welcome back to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. Lots and lots of text messages coming in about the papal funeral and what happens when the Pope passes away. A lot of people, Odi didn't realize that happens. Odi, thanks for the information about that. Odi, it sounds a little bit archaic. Yeah, it does. It's a little bit, it's older. It's older kind of stuff. Odi didn't realize all that took place after the election of a pope. Yeah, it does. Odi, how do they check it's a guy? Do you remember we chatted about that before? Remember the outdoor plumbing and the indoor plumbing? It's kind of how to do it, somebody's got to check, and it's just one person in particular that does it. But one text message did come in that it just popped into my brain. Odi, this topic is boring. Okay, sorry about that. I try to please a lot of people if you can, and they went on to talk about hunting, which I do quite a lot. I talk an awful lot about hunting, and I talk a lot about fishing and everything that happens up here in the upstate. But you know what, Texter? Thanks for letting me know that you didn't enjoy my last topic, and I'll try and put out some better topics. Apparently, yeah. How about this one? This one be good. The reason, RFK Jr. It's after escaping me altogether, but he's a health and what's the Department of Health, and yeah, anyway, it's after escaping my brain. He's kind of in charge of keeping us all healthy, and what I've seen, he's starting to do a good job. Now, one of the things that he talked about, one of the things that he was talking to food manufacturers about in recent days was the food dyes, the food colorings. Okay, have you heard about this? Now, this is something that I noticed when I moved over from Ireland, is that there's not a lot. There is food dyes. Yes, there are food dyes in Ireland, but there's not a lot. There's not as many. And you can see the difference. I'm just going to pick one, Fruit Loops. You've seen Fruit Loops? With Fruit Loops, some of the colors in the European version of the exact same cereal, it's kind of a brown cereal with a hint of color. It's a slight little bit of a color, slight little bit of a red color on it, slight little bit of a kind of a green color on it. But primarily it's a brown breakfast cereal with a little bit of color on it. Whereas if you get Fruit Loops over here, they're vivid red, vivid green, vivid blue, like they're bright yellow. They're loads of different colors, loads of great colors on it. But the reason we have the colors is that the dyes that are used. Okay, so one of the dyes, well, a few of the dyes are yellow number 5, yellow number 6, green number 4, blue number 3, and there's one here, red 40. Now, they're saying that red 40 is it's a bad one. I do remember my wife telling me about that years ago, about red 40, that she didn't want to give it to her son because it has negative effects. Well, here's the thing. It's been proven that it does. So I was chatting about this with a few friends of mine in work, and we were chatting about the fact that a few of the guys that I work with, they coach different teams, like they coach softball teams and they coach soccer teams, football teams. And they've said that a lot of the parents have told them that if they're going to give them isotonic sports drinks, not going to mention the names of them, but not to give them the red ones, to give them the blue ones, or to give them the orange color ones, but not to give them the red ones, like give them the orange flavored ones, but not give them the red. And the reason is that it does something to the kids. It makes them hyperactive. It increases the hyperactivity. And it got me curious as to how much stuff is in our food that just is terribly bad for us. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to let me know if there has been a food that you've given to your kid, or even a food that you've eaten yourself, something that you feel it has some sort of an effect to you. Now, I know with some Oriental foods, they have MSGs, which is monosodium glutamates. That does a lot to me. That can actually bring on a migraine. I've noticed that if I eat certain Chinese dishes or Japanese dishes that contain MSGs, that I will definitely have a headache. It's a headache akin to a hangover, because it does something to your body. It's a high sodium content, and your body has to break all that down. So if you're adding extra chemicals into your body, then it's going to do something bad to you. So let me know if there has ever been a food type or anything like that has sent your kids a little bit crazy, a little bit kind of hyperactive, or again, if it's something that you've eaten yourself. Now, you'll notice if you've been to Ireland or England or Scotland or Wales that a lot of the food over there, it has very short expiration dates. So the likes of bread, if you buy bread in a store, it probably only lasts for about 3 or 4 days. Whereas bread over here, have you noticed this? Have you seen this fact? Bread over here lasts a lot longer. I mean, bread can last up to a week. If you buy it in the store, if you buy fresh bread in the store, chances are by the end of the week it's still okay. It hasn't turned, it hasn't gone bad. Milk is the same. Now I've started buying some milk from a few different places. There's one milk in particular that I get. It's in Ingles. It comes in a glass bottle, and it's pasteurized, but it's not homogenized. And it actually goes off very quickly. I think you get about 3 days out of it, maybe 4 days out of it. But it tastes better. It tastes nicer. It tastes creamier. I'm just thinking that RFK is 100% right. I think we need to get back to a little bit healthier. I think we need to get away from processed foods. I mean, there's a lot of foods that you can buy here in America that you cannot buy in Europe. And I'm thinking that it could be a cause of a lot of our problems. People are texting in sugar. Yep, there's lots of sugar. There's sugar in everything. On the text line, Odie, what about salt? Normal salt. There's salt in everything. Have you ever seen it when you're sitting down to eat a meal? You might maybe prepare a meal for somebody, or you might go out for a meal, and the very first thing that somebody does is to put salt on their food. Do you do that? Then be honest. When you go for food, if you eat food, is the very first thing you do put salt on your food? Without even tasting it, do you put salt onto your food? Salt is not good for you. It helps to build up cholesterol. It is one of the high risks in heart disease. Salt is in moderation. Salt is good for you, but all the food you buy, I want you to go to your pantry or go anywhere into wherever you keep your canned goods, wherever you keep your food, and just look at the ingredients on it. I guarantee one of them is salt. I guarantee there's a lot of it on salt. On the stream, remember I am on the stream as well, on Facebook and X and YouTube. Odie, I can get headaches sometimes when I eat ice cream too fast. I think that's a different one. But no, there's lots of things. Odie, I know that Subway rolls can't be called bread in Ireland because there is too much sugar in them. Yes, 100%. In Europe and in Ireland, a Subway roll cannot be called bread because, yes, it's a cake. It's literally a cake. Odie, they put food dye in some doggy biscuits, and the coloring shows up when the dog goes take a poop. There you go. Actually, that's something as well. Do you notice that you don't see white dog poop anymore? Because we've stopped giving our dogs bones. That's kind of why that happened. But no, there's a lot of stuff in the food, a lot of preservatives in our food that shouldn't be in our food. There's a lot of food that we're eating that we're putting into our body. See, and here's the thing. I'm very cautious about what I put into my body. Okay, I've stopped drinking Red Bull. I've stopped drinking the power drinks because I know what they do to me. They increase my blood pressure, and they just do bad things to me. Unfortunately, and I've talked about this with Charlie a few times. Unfortunately, I had to take the COVID vaccine. Not happy about that. Really not happy about that. But it's one of the prices I had to pay to become an American. I wasn't happy about that because I did not know what was in that. I did not know what was in the COVID vaccine, and I had to take it. Okay. And we're all very concerned. We're all very concerned about what we put into our bodies when it comes to vaccinations, with our kids' vaccinations. Because again, I was talking to Charlie on his show a couple of weeks back. We were talking about vaccinations and how the vaccinations that I had to get affected me. I felt like they affected me, and they do affect our kids. Now, I'm not going to go in. We're not going to go into that. That was Charlie's topic. We're not going to go into that just now. But we're very careful about what vaccinations we put into our body. Why are we not so careful about what food products we put into our body? Because they're doing us wrong. Some of the food products are doing us a lot of damage. Is it a thing that we should all go back to eating natural foods? Getting your potatoes out of the ground, getting your carrots, and growing your own vegetables. And then people are saying, "Oh, but Odie, I can't grow my own beef." No, you can't grow it. Well, I mean, you can. You can grow your own cows, and you can eat the food out of them, and you can get them processed. But you can go deer hunting. Just getting back to the text earlier on, see, I do talk about hunting. You can go deer hunting. I go deer hunting. Can't wait for the season to open up this year and get some nice, lean, clean meat. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about it. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It is the voice of the Carolinas. Why are my TV screens moved? Alan Parsons Project. Oh, I'd like a jam. What kind of jam are you talking about, Kerry? Oh, yeah, Alan Parsons. But I like jam as well, Kerry. Sorry, my texters are fighting each other. I love when that happens. So I had a texter that said, "Oh, my conversation was boring, and something I was talking about was boring." Sorry, I can't entertain everybody all the time. Texter came back and said to me, "Odie, the Pope dying is in the news." Texter thinks talking about this is boring. It's boring to him or her. Can't always talk about politics. I can't. I try not to talk about politics all the time. Boring, repeating the same issues every day. Yeah. That special Pope bench you mentioned. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh no, I can eat jam in a spoon. Yeah. Kerry, that's just as bad, putting jam on cheesecakes. And you're very welcome back to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. Text line is gone a little bit crazy. You know what? Thank you for sticking up for me, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Odi, the Pope dying is always news, and I find it very interesting. So please keep up the good work talking about stuff that is relevant to us. Yeah, no problem. I try my best. Odi, talking about the Pope is not boring news. I won't keep going into that. Although you can't always talk about politics. No, and I try not to talk about politics all the time. I really do. I try not to. Try to talk about a lot of other stuff. As do all of the shows here, we talk about a lot of things. Every single show that is on the station, we talk about absolutely everything. We do. Politics happens to be strong because politics is, lets us know what's happening in the world. Because these are the people that are running the world for us. So we have to know exactly what they're doing. Odi, I was on night shift about 7 years ago and I drank 2 monster drinks every night. 2 months later, I got kidney stones. There you go. I'm not saying that they done it, but on the stream, because I am streaming live as well, Kerry has come on and it says, I first try the way food, the way a chef makes it, and then modify it if needed. I have for thousands of years people have used salt. Odie, if I'm invited to somebody's house to eat a meal, I don't season the food at all. It's already delicious because somebody went to the trouble to make it for me. There you go. Odie, I try to buy all my meat and dairy from local farm here in Spartanburg called the Refuge Farms. I think I might need to look into that about Refuge Farms. And yeah, no, I do. I try to buy my food as local as I possibly can and as fresh as I possibly can. But yeah, no, that's something that I try to do. I try to stay away from processed food as best I can. But sometimes I will eat processed food and I will enjoy it, even though it's not good for me. Then again, yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that's bad for us that we enjoy. I will say that. Now, you will have heard in the news yesterday that Virginia Guyafree, I know I pronounced it yesterday. Well, she's the woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of the abuse of when she was underage. Well, she has died by suicide. Stop screaming at the radio. Stop it. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Virginia, who was 41, was one of Epstein and Andrew's most prominent accusers, filing lawsuits against the English royal and in New York in 2021, claiming that she was forced to have sex with him 3 times between the years of 1999 and 2002, when she was underage. She died in Australia, where she has been living, where she was been living for a while. Epstein died by suicide in New York. Yeah, he did. Yeah, died by suicide in a New York cell in 2019 after being charged with sex trafficking. Now, is it me, or is it very coincidental that this lady died at the age of 41? I think she had 3 kids. I think she had 3 family. Her family came across and said a statement today. It is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia has passed away last night on her farm in Western Australia. That's what her family have said. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Is it just me, or is it that a little bit too coincidental or convenient? Now, I looked into a couple of stories about this earlier on, and it said that over the last 5 to 6 months that this lady, Virginia, had become very distant with her family. She had gone into a spiral of depression, and she had been, become estranged, and she didn't want to talk to her husband or her kids, or 3 kids. And, Could it be something that she was a little bit depressed, or could it be something that it was made for her to look depressed? I'm just putting it out there. I mean, is it a thing that, okay, if she was, and unfortunately, if she committed suicide, I mean, you can understand. I mean, I don't condone it, but you can understand. I mean, she was sexually trafficked. I think she was 16 or 17, underage, obviously enough. And then you've got animals like Epstein and Prince Andrew. Now, I don't think anything has come out definitively relating Prince Andrew to all this kind of stuff, but he has been accused on more than one occasion of sexual abuse of underage girls on the island. Now, something else as well, and I'm going to say this to Uncle Donald. I know you said that you were going to release the names of who was on the island, and I know a lot of names have been released. But where is it going? Is it going to come back into the news again? Now, I know after Virginia lost her life, it's probably going to come back into the news, definitely. But I'm just a little bit kind of, has it died down a little bit? But isn't it coincidental that she died of suicide? And I think it was about 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, the exact same lady was involved in a car crash. Now they say they've got witnesses that say that it was a proper, like, accidental car crash, and it involved a school bus, and the school bus driver was interviewed, and there was no deaths. Everything was okay. Just a bad accident. I'm kind of like, so did they try to do something with a bus crash, with a school crash, or a school bus crash, and that didn't work, so they tried something else? Is it just a little bit too wrapped up for me? Is it a little bit too much into a little package, and kind of, oh, this is let's just get rid of this problem. It's the same with Epstein. I mean, Epstein was going to face charges. Okay, so he done a lot of wrong things, and he was going to face charges, and he was convicted of sex trafficking, and he was convicted of sexual abuse of young girls, and may he burn in hell for all eternity because of that. You don't touch kids. But is it all neatly all bundled up and kind of like, oh well, that's that taken care of. Let's not talk about that. And who did it? Who did he have information on? That's what I want to know. Is I want to know exactly who in power, what person in power did Jeffrey Epstein have information on? It's the same with this girl yesterday that killed herself in Australia. Did she have something? Did she have evidence about somebody letting, somebody that would be involved, somebody in a higher power, somebody a little bit up, somebody possibly more powerful in the royal family? It's just, to me, it's very similar to any time that a new invention comes up that could go against, like, big gas or big petroleum companies, and all of a sudden they just disappear. Is that a little bit too convenient? When I come back, I'm going to be talking about the education system, whether it's better to have a degree or a trade. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Oh, I gotta stand up, guys. I'm getting stiff. Sore.
be the next pope, visited the tomb of Pope Francis, where he is now interred at the Basilica of St. Mary Manger.
Okay, I'm still here. I'm just walking.
Private goodbye. Thousands of faithful stood in long lines to be the first to visit the simple grotto. Hanging above it a single illuminated crucifix, the grave marked only with the words Franciscus. Some 200,000 filled St. Peter's Square for the memorial mass led by Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who many papal watchers are predicting could be the next pope.
No date is set for the conclave, but it's expected to start between May 5th and 10th. Agents from the Secret Service and ICE in Miami have arrested a second suspect linked to a pattern of robberies and thefts in Washington, D.C. The suspect believed to be a co-conspirator in those incidents with the primary defendant, who is accused of committing a robbery against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. The suspect is being held on an immigration detainer as charges are being finalized. America is listening.
Trying to decide if I have enough time to go and pee. No, I should be all right. Probably not.
The latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Police have a suspect in the deadly car ramming attack at a Filipino festival in Vancouver, British Columbia last night. Fox's Stephanie Bennett with more.
Now, Acting Police Chief Steve Rye said a black Audi SUV drove through the crowd at the Lapu-Lapu Filipino Heritage Festival as the event was actually wrapping up. The driver, a 30-year-old man, was taken into custody after initially being apprehended by bystanders. And Chief
I had enough time.
A significant history of interactions with police and healthcare professionals related to mental health. Now, they say a risk assessment was done before the event.
When I used to do music radio, I used to have like a couple of 5-minute songs. Yeah, they were good. I used to do a lot of music radio, and whenever you needed to go and pee, you'd put on a long song, or you put on 2 songs together, and you'd be fine. Or 2 long songs together if you had to do more than pee. Yes, I did have to run. Not very far, but I did have to run. Excuse me, I burped.
Their demonstration was live streamed on different platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
House Appropriations Committee Chair Tom Cole told Fox that he would prioritize extending the 2017 tax cuts when Congress takes up that budget bill. The Republicans from Oklahoma. I'm Kathleen Malone. This is Fox News.
Now, the Carolinas most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Lows around 50 under cloudy skies, northeasterly winds.
Shall we do radio?
Highs of low around 77 tomorrow. Meteorologist Jennifer Buchitsky from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, 66. Seems everything's groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill?
Popular.
Big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit a store near you or consumercellular.com
Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
And you're very welcome back to the show. A couple of topics we were talking about earlier on is the additives that are put into our foods. Text line has been kind of going crazy on that. Odi, food additives should not be in food. Everything should be eliminated. MSGs equal migraines for me. Odi, yes, I wish there was a way that we could buy our foods without additives and preservatives put into them. Yeah, so do I. Odi, I agree with you wholeheartedly about the additives and preservatives. What is it? Sorry, I agree with you. The text line is moving as I'm trying to read it. I agree with you wholeheartedly with the additives and preservatives in our food. I just wish that food without additives or preservatives was cheaper to buy. That's a comment that I'm getting quite a bit. Odi, thanks for talking about the Pope, the papal funeral, and the conclave and all that. And I will now be watching the movie Conclave. Well, wait until after the show. Don't disappear too fast. You can get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 800-905-0989. You can also get me on the PhD Weight Loss Talk line. If you want to have a chat with me, 800-905-0989. Give me a call during the ad breaks because, yeah, I am on my own here in the studio tonight. Now, a topic that I talked about probably a couple of months ago, I think it was before Christmas. And at the time, a lot of people said to me, I needed to give this topic a little bit more time. I needed to give it more than just one segment. And I agree wholeheartedly on that because it is a pretty big topic and it's definitely in the news at the minute. So we're going to talk about it tonight, a couple of segments on this. Is it better? Now, I want your honest opinion on this. Text or call. Is it better to have a degree, or is it better to go to trade school? So what am I saying when I say go to trade school? Well, I'll take my own life a little bit. I went to trade school when I was a young kid, and I went to learn how to become a tool maker. And from there, I progressed into working in factories and companies. And yes, after a few years of being a tool maker, I progressed on to getting a few different degrees when it comes to mechanical engineering, because it's along the same lines. And that's what I've kept doing. I've been an engineer for over 20 years now at this stage, and that's what when I'm not here on the radio, when I'm not talking on the radio, I work for a company. I won't mention the company, but it's up in Seneca, and I work there as an engineer. But I couldn't have done any of that because I didn't like my schooling. Like when I was in high school, I absolutely hated high school. And then when I left high school, I went in and I got a trade. After I got my trade, then I was a bit more mature, and then I went on to do more schooling. Okay. And that's how a lot of people do it. Other trades, you've got carpenters, you've got electricians, you've got builders, you've got plumbers, you've got mechanics, lots of different types of mechanics. And you've got hairdressers, you've got cosmetologists, you've got photographers, you've got people that are doing the job that I'm doing now. You can go to a trade school to learn how to be a sound engineer. You don't have to go to college to do that. You can go to a trade school. I know you have to go to college to be an airline pilot, but you can become a pilot just by going to trade school, for want of a better word. You go and you learn how to do it. You learn your trade. So what do you think? Is it better to have a degree or to have your trade? So if you leave school, okay, you're finished in high school, you're finished up, is there a lot of pressure put on kids that they need to go to college, they need to go to university? So as you're sitting here tonight and you're listening to this leprechaun on your radio, do you have kids that, where are we now? We're April, it's nearly May. So the school year is coming very close to being finished. School year is very, 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 very close to being finished. and you might have 2 or 3 kids that are in school, and one of them is getting ready to go to university, getting ready to go to college. Do they want to go? Have you had the conversation with your kid and said, what do you want to do with your life? I know it is a massive, massive conversation to have with a young person in your life, asking them at the age of 17, 18, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? That's a huge conversation. I don't think there is a kid, I'm going to call them a child because they're 17, they're under 18. I don't think there is a kid in the world that knows exactly what they want to do with their life. I'm 44 and I'm still kind of like, maybe I could do something else with my life. I mean, nobody knows exactly. And have you settled in the career that you wanted to be in? When you were a kid and somebody said to you, what show, or sorry, I'm reading the text message. When you were a kid and somebody said to you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Did you say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be an airline pilot, I want to be this, that, and the other? Are you doing it? Are you doing what you said you wanted to do? I'm just curious. That's all it is, just curiosity. Now, I know from talking to a lot of HR people and a lot of people that are recruiting, you don't even necessarily need the degree for the job that you're going to. Excuse me. They want to see that you have a degree. They want to see that you have 4 years. So if you're sitting there and you've got your 4-year degree or 3 years degree or 2-year degree in arts, for argument's sake, there was always a joke going around, they're an art student, don't want to do anything. They just want to go to college and drink. That's what it was in Ireland anyway. Somebody with an arts degree. They went to college and they just wanted to have fun. But you've got a 4-year degree or a 3-year degree or whatever length of degree you have. And you can apply for pretty much any job that needs a degree. You don't necessarily need it. Not necessarily. Some jobs you do, but you don't necessarily need it for the job that you might want. On the text line, go to trade school and learn a useful, high-paying trade, work for a few years, save your money, and then pay cash for whatever degree you want. That's on the text line that came into me. There's lots of them coming in. Lots of people are saying trade school all the way. Go to trade school, make your money. You'll have money from as soon as you leave. Yeah, that's the thing. If you go to trade, if you get a trade, so if you're working, I have a couple of kids that work with me at the minute now, and they're working and they're also in school and they're making a few dollars. They're working a certain amount of hours every week. They're working a few dollars, making a few dollars, and they're saving up their money. And they have a trade, and it's a possibility that they'll stay in that trade, and they might live out the rest of their life working for one company. They may enjoy it. If you go to a trade school, you don't have student loans. Whatever money you make is your money. And you will start out on low money, but it will build up and it will get bigger. You stay at one company for a while and you build up a rapport in the company, you build up a trust in the company. You obviously learn your trade, you get better at what you're doing. Then if a promotion comes up, well, we all know promotions mean more money, and then promotions mean, you get to advance in the company. I worked in a company about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And the guy who was the manager of the department I was working in, he started out with a trade. Okay, he started out as a toolmaker. Now, I'm not going to mention his name. A really good guy, big into fishing, lots and lots of time for him. He started out as a toolmaker. Didn't go to college. Started out as a toolmaker. And then a chance for a promotion came up and he went for it and he got it. And then chance for another promotion came. He went for it. He got it. And now he's an assistant manager within a group, within a massive company. He's making a good living for himself. Now, he'd done some college courses. He'd done a few college courses that were paid for by the company that he works for. But it just goes to show Is it a thing? Are we putting too much pressure on our kids to go to college, go to university, to get student loans that they can never afford to pay back? Well, they will pay them back eventually. Yeah, I know you're going to talk about scholarships. There is scholarships available. Scholarships aren't available to everybody. Scholarships are available if you have the background that wants it, like a sports scholarship. I know if you go to Clemson University, you know, you can get a sports scholarship and it'll pay it's I won't say it's a free ride, but it pretty much is. We're going to keep this topic going. Get your comments into me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800 905 0989. We're going to keep it up. Should you have a degree or go to trade school? You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It is the voice of the Carolinas. Do you have an Irish Wolfhound? Do you have an Irish Wolfhound? I want an Irish Wolfhound. But yes, if I get an Irish Wolfhound, nothing against the breeding here in America, but I know it's been diluted a lot, and if I get an Irish Wolfhound, I will go to Ireland to get a Wolfhound. I'm actually going to Ireland soon enough. I'm going to Ireland for a vacation in a couple of weeks, in a few weeks. What's your Wolfhound's name? Please tell me it's Satanta. No, because they're too expensive.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell. Cordell and Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping.
That's your dog's name? Thought that was your name. What's your name?
But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face.
Oh, my life is changing every day. See, I played the Cranberries, now the song stuck in my head. Stuck in my brain. I'm blurry for some reason. Let me unblurry myself. I'm no longer blurry. Odi was so blurry.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000,
Larry, welcome to the show, buddy.
it doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ for the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-09.
And you're very welcome back. Now, I got a text in during the break. It said, Odi, Pope Francis, populist, but not his doctrine. Was he a servant of Jesus Christ? Yeah, I believe he was. Seems like nobody cares. There's a lot of people do. I was talking about it earlier on, but yeah. No, he was a servant of Jesus Christ. Odi, fellow toolmaker here, started life waiting to be a journeyman, I think it is. That text got completely lost. Sorry about that. Odi, have you ever talked about a series and how much? No, I'm not too sure about that one. Oh yes, I have talked about that. I will talk about that in a couple of minutes. I will get onto that. It's a big topic about suicide prevention. Don't worry, I chat about that in absolutely every single show. But we are currently talking a little bit about is it better to have a degree or to go to trade school? And if a few people have been on and they're saying trade school all the way, trade school all the way. They don't have anything to pay. One guy is saying 2 years in college down the drain, and this is the toolmaker, fellow toolmaker coming back, making over 150,000 now. And so, there you go, 2 years of college down the drain. He started out as a toolmaker, and it's just one of the ways to do it. Odi, I am 68 and I still don't know what I want to do. Just kind of fell into what I'm doing now. Fair enough. In 1976, I went to the best electrical school in the army, and now I have the knowledge and just not the paper. And that's it as well. I think you could probably look into that. You can get it. Odi, I'm a landscaper and I've been doing it on my own since 95. Just the will to work for myself from the ground up is all I know. I love it a lot. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, hard work, and not taking no for an answer. John, you've hit the nail on the head there. It is something that if you don't take no for an answer and you just push as hard as you can and you just go for it, if you have a goal and if you set out to do exactly what you're going to do, then you are going to get very far in life. You are going to get extremely far in life because you got to show people what you're capable of doing. You got to show people what you're capable of achieving. A lot of people I know, when they go to college, they literally just go to college to have fun. There's a lot of my friends literally went to college just to have fun. There's a very good friend of mine at the minute in Ireland, and he's gone from job to job. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know exactly where he wants to be in life. He went to college for 5 years. He didn't finish his college course. He dropped out after 4.5 years. And he's still kind of like, I'm not exactly sure what I want to be. So my question, as I said earlier on, is it better to have a college degree or to go to trade school? The jury is still definitely out. I've had people texted in over the last couple of minutes saying I am a chef. Definitely going to chef. Stay on it. I started out in a kitchen and working. Yeah, there you go. So there's lots of things. Odi, okay. Well, thanks for this one, Jim. Odi, your show is the most honest and unbiased show on WORD. I don't know. I know. There's lots of the crew are unbiased. I take no prisoners because I say it like it is. If I have an opinion that I want to put across to you, I'm going to let you know what it is. But then I give you the option. I give you the way to get your opinion back to me. You can call in on the PhD weight loss talk line, which is 800-905-0989. You can let me know your opinion. Either way, I don't care whether you're back in the Reds or back in the Blues, or if you're going for independent. I don't care. If you like the Pope, if you didn't like it, if you're a Catholic, if you're Baptist, if you're whatever denomination you are, I don't care. Everybody has a voice on my show. The Common Sense Retirement Planning text line is always open, 800-905-0989. Get your thoughts on to me. Odi Trade School, most definitely. There you go. Most definitely. So people are saying, why are you so against? I got a text message in a couple of minutes ago and it said, Odi, why are you so against people going to college? I'm not. I'm definitely not. I just want people to realize that if they go to college and if they can't get a scholarship or they can't get any aid or they can't get any help when it comes to that, it's a huge amount of expense. The jobs are out there, but there's a lot of trades are dying. Do you know how hard it is to get a plumber? Do you know how hard it is to get a plumber? I live just outside Anderson, and trying to get a plumber, had to get a plumber a couple of months back. I needed to get my septic tank emptied, and I had a leak. Now, looking back at it, I was going to tackle the leak myself. I was, because I'm a mechanical engineer, should be well able to do it. But I looked on, I'm going to say it. I looked on YouTube. And when I was looking on YouTube, it was saying you need this tool to do this and this tool to do this. And I was like, I don't have those tools. So you know what I'll do? I'm just going to get a plumber to come in. And it took him about, I would say it took him about 5 minutes to do the job. I'm going to say how much he charged, but he did it. It's done. It's right. Okay. And got chatting to him. Then I says, do you do septic pumps? And he said, yeah, I do. Got my septic tank pumped. And that's it, done. But you know how long it took me to find somebody? It took a long time. Another small little trade, is recently I had to get a new key cut for my car. And I've got, you press the buttons and it opens your car. Trying to find someone to do that. That's another trade. It is a trade. You have to learn how to do that. You can't just pick that up and start doing it. I mean, if you go to the dealerships, they're going to charge you a lot of money to get a new key cut for a car. There's lots of trades out there. There's some nasty trades. I've a very good friend who does, the crawl spaces in your house. I have a very good friend that looks after the crawl spaces. They seal up the crawl spaces and they make it nice and pretty. Have you been to the crawl space in your house? Have you gone down into the crawl space? Let me know. Text in. Have you ever gone into your crawl space? It is nasty. There's spiders down there. I've looked into my crawl space. I've seen a couple of snake skins. It's horrible. It's nasty. You could probably find the Ark of the Covenant down there. Is not. Nobody wants to go into the crawl space because it's nasty. But yes, we have people that will go into it now. They make a good living out of it because they're doing a job that we don't want to do. We don't want to do it. And yes, there is lots of jobs. There's lots and lots of jobs. If you go to college, you go to university, thousands of jobs you can get. But there's also thousands of jobs you can get from a trade school. And I don't want to go back to it, but when you're finished your trade school, you've got no student loans. Chances are you might have your own business. A very, very good friend of mine, he's probably listening in at the minute. And he's working on his own. He started as a tool maker as well, and now he's fixing machines. He's doing maintenance on machines in different companies. He's doing pretty well for himself. He just went out and started to do it. So, on the text, Odi, the ROI on a college degree compared to actually knowing how to unscrew a nut in the trade. Listen, I've been talking to a few different kids that have gone to college and gone to university, and I'm not going to mention the ones they've gone to, but they don't know how to unscrew. They don't know the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing. They don't. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
on doing business, not on thinking, failures or victories.
Lavrov speaking to CBS News. President Trump and Ukrainian leader Zelensky had what the president calls good talk about ending the war at the Vatican this weekend. Police in Vancouver, Canada have a suspect they say rammed his SUV into a crowded festival last night. Chief Steve Ryan.
Everything's on the table. We haven't. I'd be speculating if I stated a factor in it. So our investigators are all the teams are called out and they're working through it.
At least 11 people are dead. That number expected to rise. Americans listening to Fox News.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Lows around 54, tonight under partly cloudy skies, northeasterly winds around 5 miles.
My headache's getting better, I will say that. Head has been splitting all day.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Buchitsky from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, 66.
Hey, Greenville voters, it's time to get connected with the people who represent you. Join News Talk 98.9 WORD and the Greenville Patriot Caucus Monday, May 5th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Hughes Main Library, 25 Heritage Green Place in downtown Greenville. Visit with your local and state house officials face to face. Meet WORD's very own Tara Servatius, Carly James, Bill Frady, and Joey Hudson. It's free, it's local, and it's happening with News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about
Why have I got 3 minutes of ads? All right, okay. Fair enough.
Founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
I had the worst dream last night. We were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house.
Here's the question now, and this one is just for my streamers. Do you believe that your dreams indicate what's happening in your waking life? I do. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, but anyway, do you believe, all my streamers, if you've never texted into the stream before, text in now. You've got about a minute and a half to get your things into me. But do you believe that your dreams, whatever you dream about, is an extension of your waking life? I do. I'm normally not into the whole kind of, hey man, but I'm into this. Big theming into this. Sometimes you'll dream about hunting different animals and it's a symbol of power struggle or something like that. Or you'll dream of losing teeth. Big one is losing teeth. And that's something about the change in your life. Something big is about to change in life again. John does. Yes, they do.
Online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services. Achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. Get your application fee waived now. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
And you're very welcome back to Sunday Night. So me, Odi Fitzgerald, talking about trade schools earlier on. Yeah, we're talking about a few different things. Talk about a lot of things on my show. Got a text in, Odi, you never read my text messages. Well, here's the thing, texter. Do you know how many text messages I get into the show every single night? On the Sunday nights that I'm here? Lots and lots of them. Sometimes when I'm looking at the text screen, it just keeps moving. So yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't read it. I'm sorry. I'm reading. But I don't get to read them all. One I am going to read. Odie, I have a question about that special Vatican Pope bench that you mentioned. Do you need one of those trade schools degrees to make one? See, here's the thing, Texter. That bench has probably been in existence, I want to say probably for about 1,500 years, if not more. Because he's probably made the person that made that, their ancestors are probably all dead as well. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna say that bench is probably really old. Now, here's something that I want to talk about. Now, as you know, and I've said this on my show many times, is that I am accepting of absolutely everybody. I don't care about your background. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you do, as long as whatever you're doing is legal and you're being respectful to other people. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're bi-curious or one of the thousands of different sexual preferences that people have. I don't care. You do whatever. You do whatever makes you happy. Just leave kids alone and we're fine. Okay? I don't mind. If you were born a guy and you are over the age of 18 and you decide, well, you know what, this outdoor plumbing I have, I don't want it anymore. I'm going to get some indoor plumbing and I'm going to what is it? Identify as a girl. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's fine. As long as it's your own life, that's fine. Yeah, I don't care. If you're born a girl and you say, well, you know what? I don't want to be a girl anymore. I want to be one of them man people. I want to grow a beard and I want to take different kind of hormones to make my voice deeper. And that's what I want to do. I want to have my breasts removed. And I know they can't make outdoor plumbing. Well, I think they can, but anyway. If that's what you want to do, that is fine. That is fine. No problem. But I went for breakfast yesterday morning. Okay. And I was being served. Now, I'm not going to say what food establishment I went to, but I was being served by a server. Now, this server was a tall person, about the same height as me, give or take, maybe a little bit shorter. Had blonde hair, long blonde hair. Now, again, I used to have long hair. I used to have hair that went just past my shoulders. But I always had kind of a beard. And when I was younger, I had what you could describe as a possible beard, but you could rub it off with a wet cloth. But this person that was serving me yesterday sounded like a guy, sounded like a man, had male features, like a strong jawline, typical male features. I want to say typical male features. But now I know I wear earrings, but this person was wearing diamond earrings and, just looked effeminate. You know what I mean? And again, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You can wear whatever you want. Whatever you want. But the name tag, now I'm going to make up a female name. Okay? I'm going to say Emily. Okay? The name tag said Emily. And I was just looking at the name tag. I was like, okay. And I could tell that this person was wearing ladies' undergarment, like a bra. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows what the outline of that is. And I was just, when a person gave me the food, now I would normally, hand on my heart, if it's a guy serving me, I would say, thank you, sir. And if it's a girl serving me, I would say, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But I didn't know what to say. I didn't know whether to say sir or ma'am. I didn't know what to do. Because, first of all, I didn't want to offend the person. Okay. Now, I know people say, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Just don't ask me to follow what you're doing. Like, if you're a guy, if you were a man, like if you were a man, like, the guy that was doing the swimming contest, that was just a guy. That was a guy. Okay. And he wanted people to identify, he was swimming against the female swimmers. That was a guy. And he wanted to identify as a girl. But this person, they were lovely. My food was perfect. Food was cooked right. They asked me, did they want me to, or could they top up my coffee? Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you very much. How does everything taste? Absolutely perfect. Do you want water or anything to go? No, thank you. I'm very good. Thank you very much. Do you want anything else? No, I'm fine. Your food? Yeah, couldn't look after me enough. Couldn't look after me enough. But I just felt awkward. I didn't want to offend the person. I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to call this person a guy, because to me it looked like a guy. And I didn't want to call it a girl in case it wasn't. I didn't want to say ma'am in case it was just a guy wearing effeminate clothing. And I'm just kind of like, have we gotten to the stage in our lives where, or not just our lives, but have we gotten to the stage where, and I've seen people wearing the little pins that state their pronouns, and I'm just kind of like, And I know a lot of people. I will say, whatever you want to do with your life, I don't care. I don't care. If you want to marry a lamp, do it. If you feel that you need to be in a committed relationship with a toaster oven, just be careful. That's all I'll say to you. Just really be careful. Don't put anything where it shouldn't go. But no. On the stream, Odi, I agree to your point. What about our standard of living in this country? We have the libertarians streak. Just don't force the nonsense on the rest of us. Yeah, but I don't want to offend anybody, because, as I said, this person was being really nice to me, being really friendly, like doing their job really well. On the text, I'd call it a guy. I'm just, you don't want to offend somebody. You don't want to, like, if you were to meet me on the street and say, oh, that's Odie, he's the nice English guy, I would take offense to that. I would. Because I'm not. I'm Irish. I was born Irish. Now, I'm on my way to become an American. So if you were to say, there's Odie, he's the American guy. Yeah. Yeah. On the stream, someone said, just say thank you. Yeah. There you go. Just say thank you. Be nice. On the text line, comments and plan text line, Odie, I like where you're coming from. You got to treat people with respect. Yeah, no, I do. Odie, I would have said thank you, Emma. Yeah, so maybe that is the thing. Maybe it's just, maybe we shouldn't, even though it was beaten into us as kids, that you got to call a man sir. If you don't know who they are, you say thank you, sir, or thank you, ma'am. I'm just very curious about how you'd feel about that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, just say thank you. Yeah, no, and you don't want to offend anybody. Life, I've said this a few times. Life is hard as it is. Even somebody that, they think they're doing fantastic, chances are they're not. Or, well, maybe they are. But life is hard. Life is full of enough complications. Definitely full of enough complications. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it friendly amongst everybody. And yeah. When I get back, summer's here. Summer's definitely here. It's getting way too hot for my Irishness. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It is the voice of the Carolinas.
Live analysis and opinion. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald
on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. 15 minutes of nonstop breaking news as
Ow. I'm just a mess tonight.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Lows around 54 tonight under partly cloudy skies, northeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Coming up around 77 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Buchitsky from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, 66.
I had the worst dream last night. We were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to
No, Larry, you did not just say that to me. You think it's hot now? You gotta wait until July. Wait until August. Wait till it gets good and hot. Mm-hmm. I've been living here. I've been living in the country for 7 years now, and every single year around this time, I'm like, man, it's getting hot. And somebody will always say to me, "Think it's hot now? Wait until July. You wait until August." Yeah, no, I've been here. I've been here for quite a while. Oh, last year was horrible.
The amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football. So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I played football for a number of years. I looked at and talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided, okay, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there and they look at the knee, and here's the program that we can put you through. That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime. The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. Go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy. Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief is offering you for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning Tech.
And you're very welcome back to the final segment of the show tonight here on Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Thank you very much for tuning in. See, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a reason that I love my listeners. Absolutely every single one of them. Talking about the heat that's about to happen when the summer comes in. And yeah, of course, somebody said to me, "Oh, Odi, poor baby, wait until July and August." Yeah, I know. It's going to get hot. I've been living here. I've lived here for 7 years now, and I know what the July, August, and even into September. I remember fishing. I was out fishing. Was it last year, or the year before? I was out fishing with a very good friend of mine in late August, and the sweat was just pouring out of us. There's no point in even wiping the sweat off my brow because it just kept coming. Odi, I was out on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. Odie, I was out walking my dog on Main Street when this obese guy in a dress and blue hair and fishnets, okay, paint, that's some picture, that had a voice like a Navy chief, uh, said hello to me. I just shook my head and keep walking. You see, here's the thing. I don't care what you look like. I don't. Just don't ask me to, I know. And yeah, it's a minefield. It is a little bit of a minefield. A lot of people are just saying, just say thank you. That's all you got to do is just say thank you to people. Yeah, that's all you got to do is just say thank you. Lots of people are saying, Odie, you just need to get used to September. Yeah, I am. But the reason I'm talking about summer and the reason I'm talking about this, that, and the other, and when it comes to being out on the lake, especially, I mean, the weather has been getting really nice. Weather has been getting really good, and everybody's getting out on the lake. But there's a few different things that you may or may not know about being on a lake. Well, first thing is that you got to ensure that you have a good, safe boating experience, that everybody has personal flotation devices or life jackets. Life jackets. Just make sure if you've got a pontoon or a fishing boat or anything like that, make sure you have enough life jackets for everybody on the boat. Okay. Now I want to hear your thoughts on this as well, because a lot of people have very different opinions about boats, and a lot of people have very different opinions about the lake. The lake is for everybody, whether it's Lake Hartwell or Lake Lanier, or if you're up on Lake Kiowee, any of the lakes, any of the waterways, they're for everybody. If you're on the Chattooga River, if you're fishing or if you're tubing or if you're doing anything like that, we all have to share. We share all of the lakes together. Be it if you're on a fishing boat or on a jet ski or on one of the big cruisers, everybody shares. Everybody has to share the lake. You've seen the sheriff's department have a boat. They have a boat on the water. They don't be on it all that often, but they do be there. They do be out looking around and in their own party island, making sure people are being safe. Did you know? Did you know that you can get done for drunk boating? Just gonna put it out there. Just if you're operating a boat and if you're over if you're drunk, if you're drunk and operating a boat, you can be arrested. You can be done for it. What have we got? Oh, sorry. Odie, I didn't know you couldn't read all the texts. We thought only your family. It's a bit weird. No, there's lots of people are reading text messages out there. Sorry, that was a very strange one that came in there. Just had to read it out. Yeah, no, you got to be safe on your boats. Don't drink in boat. Don't. Everybody on the boat needs to have a life jacket on them. South Carolina law requires that all children under the age of 12 must wear a PDF life jacket when in the watercraft. If you're on a boat and you're under the age of 12, you have to have your life jacket on you. I've seen people with small little tiny babies on boats with no life jackets. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know they were supposed to. Well, we were on a boat many years ago, a couple of years ago, and we had life jackets on everybody, and I got stopped. See, I live very close to, well, I live close to the lake, and where I put my boat in on the lake is very close to where the SCDNR have their site. So they've stopped me quite a few times, and I kind of know them a few times. I know them by name now, and they chat away to me, and they check everything. They check that I have a working horn on my boat. And they check that I have my life jackets and that I have my license to fish. And you have to have everything like that. And I've had some people talk to me, and they don't do any good. Oh, they don't do that. But they're looking after you. They're looking after you on the lake. See, the thing is, if we don't treat the lake with respect, well, we all know what's going to happen. So if you're out on the lake this coming weekend, or if you have been on the lake, a few things you need to remember. Just always make sure you have sunscreen, because you know what's going to happen. I definitely know what's going to happen. I'm so white. Well, my arms are a little bit brown now because, well, my arms are always out. But I'm so white that the rest of my body is transparent. People, if I'm on the lake and I take my shirt off, first of all, they're going to see that I'm a little bit overweight. Which, I'm okay with. I'm losing a lot of weight. I'm getting there. But yeah, they're going to see that, and then they're going to go blind because my body is so white that if you're not wearing sunglasses, it's like looking at a welding tour. It's transparent. People have gone blind looking at my body. And yeah, no, it's not for the bad reasons. So wear your sunscreen, wear a hat, sunglasses. Now, I'm not just telling you this for the good of my health. Don't look. If there's a few people on your boat that want to have a few beers, let them have a few beers. That's what, if you're having a bit of a party, if you're having fun, but just keep in mind that you're looking after them people. If people are on the boat, you are minding those people. Don't get drunk. There's no. You're just going to, because 9 times out of 10, if you're having a few drinks, if you're on the lake, chances are you might be taking your boat out of the water, getting into your truck, and having to drive home. And we all know what happens then. Just be familiar as well with CPR. Mightn't be a bad thing. If anything happens, if somebody goes under the water for a little bit too long, it could help, because help is a long way away. If you're out on the lake, help is a long way away from you. Just be careful of thunderstorms as well. You know what happens with and the reason I'm saying all of this is that a lot of people have got in contact with me and say, "Oh, I like to see you out on the lake." And we see, I've met lots of people on the lake, and they're like, I know that a lot of the listeners to all the shows here on WORD go out on the lake. So just be ready for the lake. Be ready for what's about to happen, because it's going to get crazy. Stay hydrated as well. Just because you're in the lake doesn't mean you're being hydrated. And just because you're drinking a few beers, they're not hydrating you either. They dehydrate you. So again, coming up to boat season, coming up to being on the lake season, just exercise caution, have fun, really have fun. The lake is brilliant. Fishing or whatever you're doing, just have fun on it. It's just something that I said I'd put out to people, something to help you out a little bit. Now, something else that will help you out a little bit, and I do talk about it, and people have said, "Why do you talk about it so often?" Because I do. If you think that life is getting a little bit too hectic, if you think his life is getting a little bit down, if you have a lot of problems on your brain, a lot of problems on your mind, there is help. Remember, if you ask for help, you will get it. There is always help for someone who asks for it. You can't make someone get help. They have to ask. So every single Sunday night, I remind people that there is help out there. It is help in the form of the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The phone number for those is 988. If you're thinking, I can't talk to somebody, I'll be too embarrassed to talk to somebody, you can text them. You can text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The number for that is also 988. You can send them a text. And when you call them, if you need to call them, all my friends out there who are vets, served in the military, special line for y'all as well. If you call 988, press number 1. And that gets you in contact with someone straight away. There's always help out there. Everybody needs a little bit of help at some stage. I myself had to get help at one stage. I know life was getting a little bit too much for me, and I had to end up going and talk to somebody. And when initially I was like, oh, really? But then I was like, why did I not do this sooner? Why did I not get help sooner? I will be back next Saturday night with the guys on the Pulse, and I'll be back here on Sunday night. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. Stay safe. Look out for each other. Slán Abhaile. Bye. All right, my streamers. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will talk to you all next Saturday night on the Upstate Pulse with the guys, and I'll see you back here next Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe. Slán Abhaile. Bye.